Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, click that subscribe button below to stay up to date with all things medicine and pre-med tips. Today I'm going to be making a video on how to get into a BSMD program. All of my tips are going to come from my personal experience getting into the program, as well as things I heard from the administration as a student interviewer that help make your application stronger. So if you would like to hear how to get in, just keep watching. The most important aspect of your application by far will be your essays. Every program has different supplemental essays that they make you fill out. Do not take these lightly. You cannot apply to a BSMD program the night before and expect to get in or for it to be easy. I spent 2 weeks on my application filling out 3 different essays to the best of my ability, having peers look over them, having mentors look over them. You have to make sure that your essays differentiate you from the other candidates. Most students applying have great grades. Programs that have 5% or less acceptance rate expect good grades. Grades are not going to be what gets you into this program. Aside from your essays, the other thing that admissions really looks for when you're applying to a BSMD program is some sort of medical experience that you did in high school. Now, no one's expecting you to be a trained EMT or to have direct patient care hours. It's nearly impossible to really get that in high school, depending on your state's regulations. What schools are looking for is for you to have experience in the medical field somehow. Shadowing a doctor, scribing, any of those things are great, and the cherry on top would be if you could get someone at, let's say, the doctor's office that you shadowed to write you a recommendation letter. This really goes above and beyond to show the administration that not only were you just there volunteering or shadowing, but that you really learned something and that you made an impression on the person that you were shadowing. If you could get someone high up in the office to write you a letter that you made a relationship with, that's even better. It looks great to have the chief medical officer of an office write a recommendation letter for you, vouching for you, that you would be a good candidate, that you're going to make a good doctor. Admissions really looks for that. And so it's really important to not only have some sort of medical experience, but to have a recommendation letter come from that medical experience to show that you actually added value where you were. Making relationships is great, and you really need to keep those relationships throughout your career to help further your education. So your essays are going to get you in the door for an interview, as well as having medical experience and great recommendations. What do you do once you're at the interview? The interview is what's really going to drive it home. You can't get into the program without an interview. So if you don't even at least get an interview, then you have no chance, which is why those first 2 things are so important. Once you're at the interview, it's really important that you show who you are. I know it's nerve-wracking, I know it's scary, and I think I'm going to make a separate video specifically on interviews because I did get a question requesting that, but you really need to show who you are, and you should be doing practice interviews with anyone that you can. My program gives a week interview notice before you have to come in for the interview. I spent every night that week going over interviews with my dad, with my guidance counselor, with anyone that I could get to help me, because you need to be ready to make a great impression, and that comes from practice. No one just wakes up and does a great interview. You really need to rehearse and practice, because the more comfortable you are, the better impression you're going to make, and the interview is the determining factor. Once you get into the interview, it very rarely matters what your grades were compared to the next candidate. It's really all based off your experience as the interview. So if you could make a great impression with your interviewers, that's what's going to drive you home. That's what's going to make you get chosen over the next person, even if your grades are worse, even if your SAT score or ACT score is worse. So let me know down below if you like these tips and if you have any more questions. I would love to make a series out of this and help you guys in any way that I can. Come to me with any questions you have for applications. I would love to help. And I know some people requested a stats video asking about my grades and stuff. And although I do think that grades are not the most important thing in a BSMD program, I would still love to share that if people are curious. So let me know. Please give this a like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Good luck.